All right, good morning, everyone. I'm going to open this meeting for the Polk County Board of Commissioners for Tuesday, March 18th. All commissioners are present. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. First up on our agenda is for comments for items not on the agenda. Anyone? All right. Missing your opportunity. Next up is the approval of the agenda.
Also move. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passed unanimously. Approval of minutes of March 11th.
So moved. I'll second
It's
that.
been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passed unanimously. Do we have any non-listed items?
I have none.
None for me, sir.
Okay.
To give a little update that the Department of Corrections budget was considered in public hearing last week, and I gave testimony, as did many others, the most I've ever seen for corrections for the full funding. So I think there will be an increase this year, just don't know how much. But it was,
So it's gonna be a bloody fight all the way down to sign die, I bet.
oh yes,
Because Ways and Means has got, my perspective, they've got so much piled up in front of them.
absolutely.
Yeah, and a lot of it is zany.
I like that word. Yeah, this is really just a basic service that is under serious duress throughout the state. So at the very least, that message was heard. Whether Ways and Means can accommodate is another story, but we'll keep pushing.
Very conservative description of what's going on over there.
Zany, yeah, it's a public record word. Yeah, zany. Oh, I could go on and on, but I won't. Do you feel like you have some news to report on A&T progress?
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about
Please.
that.
Yeah.
Well,
You have wide open slots this morning,
yeah.
and we should be updating each other on what we know, what's current.
Right. Yeah, so as you know, we had a hearing last week and Lyle showed up and gave testimony for in support of our House Bill 3518, I believe it is.
Mhm.
And this is for sustainable assessment and taxation funding. We're asking for an increase in doc recording fees. We're asking for 0.3% of property tax holdback and 10 million from the state's general fund. We had a lot of support in the room. It was very impressive. I think everybody on the committee was impressed by the amount of people that were in the room. And we had over 20 people testifying in support. We had assessors, commissioners, we had, and then we had some jurisdictions that I wasn't aware of that were going to be there, that one was opposed to it. I think it was the Realtors Association. But the League of Oregon Cities was there, and I believe they wanted more information. They weren't outright opposed. They were wanting more information. So that's a win. I feel like we did a really good job. Our lobbyist put it all together, and he was very pleased with the outcome. And yeah, so that's where that went. We had a lot of written testimony also submitted. And we're just waiting to hear what our next steps are.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're making really good progress. I feel like if we have a chance at getting sustainable funding, this is the year. And, you know, we hired an additional lobbyist to help push it over the finish line. And so we have 2 working for us. And so we're really positive and hopeful that it's going to happen. So.
I'd just like to tell you, thank you for you and your staff. One thing I learned in listening to the testimonies is some of the counties have not visited or revisited the property in over 30 years for reassessment. And they'll have new construction they don't even make it out to. And then Multnomah County, their assessor was there, and he made the statement that for every clerk he could hire would bring in $15 million. So we need funding to hire the clerks. I'm thinking $15 million per person. Why aren't you hiring? those people. But they keep 0.004% of the tax rate. So it doesn't pay their wages.
Right, and each county is unique and has different challenges, and some have more challenges than others. And we did hear from the counties that are really hurting, but not all of them were there that are hurting. Like Curry County wasn't there, and we know they're struggling. Douglas County wasn't there, and we know they're struggling. But we heard from Lane, and we heard from Clackamas, and we heard from Multnomah, to name a few. And I know Lane County and Multnomah County has been able to measure what they believe the return on investment's going to be, and it is significant. I'm not sure about Polk County, like where we're at on our ROI. I feel like we have maintained a really good reappraisal cycle. There's a lot of, we've visited all the properties. We don't have properties that we haven't been to in 30 years. We maintained a really good reappraisal cycle even after Measure 50, because Measure 50 did away with the 6-year reappraisal cycle. And that's when a lot of the counties stopped reappraising. But we maintained a reappraisal cycle. And that was, I really have to give kudos to Dennis Day. He really set us up for success. He was a long-term assessor here for probably close to 30 years. And followed by Dennis, or followed by Doug. And then, so I feel like I inherited a really strong and solid program to begin with. So I wish I could take credit for where we are today, but I really have to, Dennis Day really had foresight for that. We just, Polk County historically has a really good history of strong fiscally responsible and good leadership. And I think, we're benefiting from it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Any other updates? Okay. Guess that concludes our business. We are adjourned.